What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about another new release. Don't worry, more Christmas reviews coming very soon. Today I'm going to be talking about Wonka, a reimagining slash retelling of the story. Actually, it's an origin story about Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka this time is played by Timothy Chalamet. This is directed by Paul King and co-written by him. You may know him from the Paddington movies. Willy Wonka, chock full of ideas and determined to change the world one delectable bite at a time, is proof that the best things in life begin with a dream. And if you're lucky enough to meet Willy Wonka, anything is possible. I've never really been the biggest fan of the original Willy Wonka movie. I think it's a fine movie, but it wasn't something I always watched when I was a kid. I think I was just always scared of the Oompa Loompa scene. I don't know, there was always something creepy about that. You know, like the vibe that ride at Universal Studios Florida, I think it's Islands of Adventure, when you go on the Dr. Seuss ride? That's what Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory feels like to me. And I didn't even bother with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I mean, I saw the teaser trailer, made fun of it so many times for the whole "let's boogie" thing, you know. And I will say the trailers for Wonka didn't do it for me either. I'm not a big fan of Timothy Chalamet. If you follow my channel, you know that. I don't think he's a good actor. What Timothy Chalamet does here in Wonka, where has this been his entire career? He's been asleep this entire time. What is going on, man? This is the liveliest I have seen Timothy Chalamet on camera. This man brings a lot of energy, a lot of personality, something that's I think is lacking in a lot of his other roles. Yes, even Dune. Maybe this will make me like Dune for now. Who knows? He has this spark to him in this movie. He's got everything that can really make a young Willy Wonka who is dreaming big, and that's a big theme of this movie, big dreams. He really brings that into this movie without Timothy Chalamet in this weird, wacky performance that he kind of gives, where he's meticulously saying his lines, but he's saying them in a way that gives Willy Wonka some personality. I don't think it would work. From what I've heard, Johnny Depp is pretty good in that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie, but both him and Chalamet will never live up to the iconic performance of Gene Wilder. That's just the truth. You can't it's like anybody who plays Superman now. You're never going to live up to Christopher Reeve, no matter who you are. Christopher Reeve will always be Superman, just like how Gene Wilder will always be Willy Wonka. But I think when you look at it, since this is an origin story, I could see Timothy Chalamet's Willy Wonka morphing into Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka. Even just some facial expressions from Timothy Chalamet, I was looking at him and I was saying, that's definitely a young Gene Wilder. Like he pulls off the look of a young Gene Wilder. I don't know how he does it. Again, where has this been his entire career? As I said, Paul King has directed the first two Paddington movies. He unfortunately won't be directing Paddington 3, but he has this type of style, this really colorful, vibrant visual world that really relies on certain colors. Like you look at the set design in his movies, and immediately what strikes me is that it feels very similar to Wes Anderson's movies. And I feel like Paul King maybe takes inspiration from Wes Anderson, because the use of colors is really interesting. There's a lot of reds and pinks in this movie, and obviously when you get to the chocolate stuff, you get brown. I don't know, it just enhances the world for me. It makes it feel more lively and vibrant, and it really makes you hungry, honestly. It makes you want the chocolate, but there's like each scene has something to say about its colors, you know? Like it's expressing that type of mood with the scene, with the colors. That's something Paul King has always thrived at, and I think he does a wonderful job here again with the set design. It's a visually appealing movie, really fun to look at. It's a musical. He directs this movie fairly well. He has a knack for these type of family films. I think that is where his style is. I think that's where his style is going to be moving forward. He has this certain style. He uses some old school transitions that we don't really see anymore. I think mostly it's a well-directed movie. I think where it's not directed all that well is unfortunately the musical numbers in this movie. I'm not taking anything away from Chalamet, because I'm pretty sure that this is how he was directed, but it kind of reminded me of how Guy Ritchie directed the Aladdin remake, where it just felt like King is just following the character through a crowd, and you really don't get this whole depth of field thing. Like it just feels like you're just walking with the character. It doesn't feel like you're taking in the environment, if you know what I mean. And then there are other musical numbers in the movie that I feel as if the choreography just felt very repetitive from song to song. You'll see Timothy Chalamet doing several dances, and he's very talented with it. And then he'll do the same thing in another song, and it just felt like he couldn't figure out what to do. He was repeating and retreading familiar ground, and maybe that's how he was directed, and maybe that's Paul King's idea of directing a musical like that, but it just didn't work for me. It just felt very tired after a while. I felt like I was watching the same thing over and over again on loop. And just some of the songs just weren't that memorable. I love the first one that opens the movie. I think it's called A Hat Full of Dreams. That's a great song. I got that. I'm gonna have that on repeat for a while. There's great songs in here, but like every Disney movie, I know that this isn't a Disney movie, but like all those classic Disney movies like The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, you can just take your clicker and be like, "Oh, this song's a skip." So there are skippable songs in here, and I think that really the musical numbers, the songs, some of the choreography are what bring this movie down quite a bit. But you're here to watch a Willy Wonka movie. It's a family movie. I think kids will get a little bit more enjoyment out of it than the adults. I think the adults will have more nostalgia for the Gene Wilder one or even maybe the Johnny Depp one. But I think kids will really enjoy it. I think the characters are actually really well developed. There's this character named Noodle that I really loved. I thought she was, next to Wonka, was the heart and soul of the movie. And there's just certain revelations about characters and certain themes that this movie follows through on that are fully realized and really make you think. So maybe this can be for adults. Maybe if you're still trying to follow your dream out there, you should watch this movie because it's about being hopeful of your dreams. I did enjoy this movie, and I can't believe I actually said that I enjoyed Timothy Chalamet in a role because I think he's been half asleep at the wheel for his entire career. If they want to make more Willy Wonka movies with him, bring him back. Oh, and another thing I didn't like before I give my rating, the CGI is downright atrocious, man. Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa. Okay, that's fine. But man, when he talks, his mouth barely moves. It's like as bad as some of the de-aging on Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That's what it looked like at some points, and it's very noticeable. The other CGI is seamless, but when it comes to Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa, I don't know why that was the one that stuck out. That was the one that was so noticeable, and it took me out of every scene I was in. But I did like Wonka, and I will say I enjoyed it with 3/4 of a bucket of popcorn. So if you guys have seen Wonka, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. I'll leave my links to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.